We lie, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose cross lights and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, bombs bursting in air, came through to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Welcome everyone to WBW Warfare. This is Nicholas Cross and we are live here in Toledo, Ohio, and as you can see we have a capacity crowd as there are a lot of things on the agenda this evening, ladies and gentlemen. One of those things has been much speculation spreading around the WBW audience and all over Toledo, Ohio, and quite frankly all over the United States, as rumors are running rampant that the commissioner, Eddie Ortega, is going to resign his position as commissioner of WBW. Of course, those could just be rumors, it could just be speculation, but ladies and gentlemen, the word is going around and everybody is on edge waiting for whatever this news may be from Eddie Ortega. And of course, that's not the only news going around. We know that somehow, some way, there will be a first ever WBW World Heavyweight Champion crowned tonight. We're not sure what's going to happen. All we know is that someone's going to be squaring off against Chris Chambers in the main event. And this guy, Nicholas Cross, right here with you, is going to make a bold statement. No matter whatever happens for the future of WBW, no matter where we go or how we get there, I'm going to make a statement and I'm going to stick to my guns. You will never see a more historical World Big Time Wrestling show in all of history than what we're going to see here tonight. Let us go to our colleague, Danny Crump.
Please welcome the WBW Commissioner, Eddie Ortega!
Well, it looks like we're going to start Warfare out with Eddie Ortega out of the gate, and maybe we'll be able to answer some of these questions. As there you see him, and here you hear Toledo, Ohio, going crazy for their guy, Eddie Ortega, making his way to the ring. And man, oh man, I got to be honest with you, I certainly hope that these rumors are nowhere near true. Eddie Ortega has been such an institution here in WBW. He has made some great decisions, has put the WBW brand on the map, and for him to be gone, it would be a tragedy. And there you can tell everybody's behind Eddie Ortega. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Cross will be right back right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we're going to go join Eddie in the ring right now.
An announcement to make.
And here we go, the announcement. Wait a minute. Wait just a darn minute. Eddie Ortega out here, he puts his heart and soul into this company, and every single time that he comes out, these guys come out and they interrupt him. These guys, of course, speaking of Otis and Jethro Odysseus, and there's a lot of backstory here, ladies and gentlemen. The last time that we saw Eddie Ortega and Otis in the ring, Eddie was injured pretty badly by Otis, and that's why he's not able to continue with their clash tonight. Otis gave him a vicious impaler DDT, and as you hear Eddie Ortega leading the audience in a "You Suck" chant.
Okay, first of all, you find us on Facebook. Eddie, we know you got a big announcement tonight. You're stepping down as the commissioner. You should have done yourself a favor and just retired after Otis beat you.
Give me a break.
But it's okay. After you leave, Otis is going to be the number one guy around here.
The number one guy? The number one guy, Otis, is going to be the number one guy.
You know what, Otis? You have an ass whooping coming.
Wow!
But unfortunately, I'm not medically cleared to wrestle tonight. So, I put you in a match against this man.
Wait a minute. Eddie Ortega looks like he's booking an impromptu match. And here we hear the music of Detroit's best kept secret. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see Handgun Dan. And there he is. And what a choice of an opponent for one Otis, because we know that Handgun Dan is made of the things that toughness is made of. And there he comes as you hear WBW audience coming alive. Handgun Dan versus Otis right out of the gate, ladies and gentlemen. How unbelievable is this? And let us not forget, a little bit later on, we're going to see a WBW champion crown. First ever historical WBW championship will be on the line tonight as Handgun Dan has climbed up on the apron and the audience is really getting behind him. Handgun Dan getting into the ring. Now, and Otis just took his head off. Otis just took his head. Wait a minute, Eddie's got something to say.
Was not that I'm stepping down as commissioner.
He's not stepping down.
My announcement was that tonight we're going to have a battle royal.
A battle royal?
The winner of that battle royal will face Chris Chambers tonight to crown the first ever WBW World Heavyweight Champion.
Holy Toledo! There's going to be a big-time rumble.
You said you wanted to be the number one guy. Guess what? You are tonight, because that battle royal starts now.
Oh my goodness gracious, what a bombshell that Eddie Ortega dropped. Speculation was swirling that he was going to be resigning as commissioner with a major announcement, but that's not at all what he did. Eddie Ortega has booked a big-time rumble, and whoever wins this thing, if I'm hearing correctly, and I'm checking with our colleagues here to make sure, and yes, this is verified, whoever wins this thing will go on to face Chris Chambers for the WBW Championship in the main event. And you can see Otis assaulting Handgun Dan. And here comes number 3. Young man here, lightweight. We know him as a referee. And Otis just cinches him up right into a gut wrench suplex. Takes him up and over. Well, lightweight came. He saw and he got suplexed. Wait a minute, Handgun Dan now hooking Otis for a suplex. He's got the big man up, 325 pounds. Handgun Dan showing some good power there. Did you hear that chop echoing off the wall from Handgun Dan? And here comes Cass, hot young athlete, riled and ready. One of WBW's training school's very own, and this guy is going right after Otis, and you can guarantee that he has his eyes set on the prize as he's just putting boot after boot to Otis, and to be frank with you, he has Otis in trouble. Some may question the strategy of Cass there, but he went right after Otis, and he has been decimating him ever since. It's Colt Daniels! It's Colt Daniels, and you can guarantee he's going to go straight after Cast. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. This action is intense, non-stop, and personified. Colt Daniels went straight after Cast and has not quit putting the boots to him since. These two young guys are going to go at it, and this is going to be a feud for the future. You can guarantee that as Lightweight slams Handgun Dan's head right in the corner and then goes and gives Big Otis an elbow. And oh my goodness, the mood is about to change. And let me coin a phrase, business is about to pick up, because right there is Fizz Ed. 6'3", 249 pounds. Otis has lightweight up now as Handgun Dan goes right after Colt Daniels. Excuse me, Fizz Ed does. I'll get myself straight in just a moment. Colt Daniels is being pummeled now by Fizz Ed. A lot of speculation around these two guys, Cast and Colt Daniels, as Fizz Ed continues to lay waste to Colt Daniels. Both men came out of the WBW training school right here in Toledo as we hear the music of one of Rapid Fire team members. And during their years training at WBW's training school, they developed quite the rivalry, and there have been many words and many hard feelings between the two of those guys. We're going to see some major things between the two of them in the future as Fizz Ed just chops Colt Daniels, continuing to just assault him. And Lou Crank came in, and he's got, wait a minute. When we cut away to Lou Crank, I must have missed it, but it looks like both Otis and Handgun Dan have been eliminated, as well as lightweight. But Otis, he doesn't care if he's been eliminated. Wait a minute, what kind of music is this? We're told that this guy's name is Grady, but I gotta be frank, I don't know anything about him. What in the world is that? Oh, look, he just fell down the ramp. This guy Grady fell down the ramp, and Colt Daniels has been eliminated, by the way. Maybe he'll get himself together when he gets into the ring here. Or not at all, as he can't even get his feet underneath him as he just trips into the bottom rope and then was able to duck a double axe handle from Lou Crank. But Crank now just going right to work on this guy named Grady, and what interesting attire we're seeing from Grady. I gotta be honest, I'm not quite sure what to think of this guy. Is he wearing his Sunday Go Meeting outfit as Lou Crank's just standing right in the back of Grady's head. Lou Crank now running over into the corner as Fizz Ed continues to pound Cast, and Crank with a big avalanche, and Grady looks like he's in trouble. What's Lou Crank going to do now? Well, it looks like Grady came, it looked like Grady saw, and it looked like Grady flew. And there you can cancel Christmas for that young, and I use that term loosely, man Grady, as Lou Crank just launched him right over the top rope. And now Fizz Ed and Lou Crank are going to work on Cast over in that corner there. As you see Grady crawling up the ramp, what in the world? But Cast was able to fight his way out, and there was a clothesline from Fizz Ed. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, if enough is not enough, here comes Jason Franchise. Vote for Jason Franchise, everybody. Just vote for Jason Franchise, and now he's just going to skip his way down to the ring. I don't want to take anything away from the ability of Jason Franchise, because he is actually an amazing wrestler. But the problem with guys like Jason Franchise is he likes to talk too much before he does too much action. This is the pro wrestling business, and we want to see that exact thing. Pro wrestling, and there you see Franchise. I was talking about that skill, just laying in some forearms, and then he comes in, avalanching Lou Crank, and Lou Crank was flattened like a pancake. But this is what I'm talking about with Jason Franchise. He wants to showboat. He wants to show his muscles. He wants to dance. He wants to do a little disco. And wait a minute. This is one guy that we don't know much about, but that there is a lot of talk swirling around concerning. And his name is Kindred. 367 pounds, I'm being told in my monitor. And he's probably going to be the biggest guy in this Rumble as he goes right to work on Fizz Ed. And those are hard right hands that Kindred is throwing on Fizz Ed over there. And now Cast is going to work over Fizz Ed. And here comes Lou Crank off on a Jason Franchise with an avalanche on his own. It's hard to keep up with the action. Right now it looks like there's 5 men in the ring. Lou Crank, Jason Franchise, Fizz Ed, Kindred, and Cash still in there, might I add. And here comes this young man, not too sure who this is, and with super kick! Did you hear the audience? This guy dives under the ropes, comes up to his feet, and goes straight down to his back as this young superstar Cass just super kicked his face off. And now Lou Crank was putting the boots to him. Unbelievable, talking about the action, talking about it being non-stop, talking about it being everywhere. Well, that's exactly what's going on as we see a super kick from Jason Franchise. And here's Jake Frost, one of the fan favorites here in Toledo and all over the world. And there goes Cass. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to take your hat off to this young man. He lasted in there a long time. And maybe one of the great moments of this Big Time Rumble so far has been that amazing super kick that Cass delivered from out of nowhere that just lowered the boom, absolute lowered the boom on that other young man. And that other young man, I'm not even sure his name. I can't keep up with the action. Well, he's been eliminated too. Jason Franchise has been eliminated as well. They're coming just as fast as they're going and going just as fast as they're coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Crum just announced Brandon McGregor, 6'7.5", 270 pounds almost. And this is a difference maker in this type of match. One of the most revered men, hated men, and he's about to get in there and do some damage. You can guarantee that as he slithers under the bottom rope, one side and then right out the other. I'm not sure what in the world he's doing as he's making Danny Crum leave his seat, and Brandon McGregor has parked us, took us right over there right ringside. May as well order a popcorn and a soda pop, my friend. Looks like he's going to spectate this thing. Wait a minute, we got Kindred going up on Kindred was just thrown over the top rope, but then he was able to land on the apron and slide back underneath the bottom rope there as Lou Crank, Jake Frost, and Fizz Ed, all three men, putting the boots to Kindred, and maybe that's the best strategy that you can have in this type of thing. And here comes another big guy, the son of Sam, and he's going to come in here and take care of some business, you can guarantee. And he goes right into Kindred, but then you see Lou Crank, maybe not good strategy there, as he cuts Son of Sam right off. Son of Sam sends Crank in, a big boot right in the face of Crank. And there's your receipt, Crank. And now Son of Sam back over to his objective to get that monster out, and they're hoisting him. They're hoisting him, and once again he lands on the apron, but this time they kick him out, and Kindred is out of here. And just as soon as Kindred hit the floor, here comes Zayden Storm. And man, there's some contenders in this ring right now. Lou Crank, Zayden Storm, Jake Frost, Fizz Ed, Son of Sam. This is pretty serious. It's anybody's ball game. But I'm curious, who's your favorite? Don't forget to go to Twitter or Facebook and tell us who you think's going to win the Big Time Rumble as Zayden Storm comes in a house of fire, delivering an elbow right to Fizz Ed, right across his rotator cuff. And as if we thought that the contenders had already come, here comes Renzo Lavelle. Guys, gals, fans, and friends, let me tell you something. This guy ain't no joke either. You got a group full of guys, and here comes Jake Frost and Renzo Lavelle. I almost overshadowed this with another conversation, but these guys have had a hot feud over the last several months, and right now they're just going to get as much of each other as they possibly can. Lou Crank now trying to hoist Son of Sam up while Fizz Ed's over choking Zayden Storm. 6 top WBW superstars, and now you hear Renzo Lavelle just kicked Frost right in the face. And what's he going to do here? He's going to land. No. I thought Renzo was going to try to throw Frost over, but instead he slammed his head into the turnbuckle pad, and now he's trying to pick him up and hoist him over as another avalanche from Son of Sam over in this corner, closest to our table. And Jake Frost is chopping away at Renzo. These guys have been at it for months. Someone may ask, when is this thing going to finally come to an end? Lou Crank now giving right hands, big right hands, might I add, as we have a little bit of a technical difference. And wait a minute, this could be the difference maker. We just heard Danny Crum announce Jonte Keith is going to be making his way to the ring. Well, Jonte Keith is one half of Rapid Fire with Lou Crank. This this is a tag team, and the implications are pretty serious here. Jonte now on everybody. He super kicked Renzo right in the face, and then springboards off the rope and gives Son of Sam and Insecurity over in the corner, and Jonte is a house of fire as he's going to work on Jake Frost now. So I'm curious, in a match like this, we've seen matches like this all the time, as Fizz Ed making that poor child cry. In a match like this, as a tag team, what do you do? I mean, do you work together, or do you go for the bigger prize? Because we know the commissioner has announced that whoever wins this thing gets a shot with Chris Chambers for the most historical match that will ever be in WBW history to crown the first ever WBW champion. So I'm curious if Crank and Jonte worked. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? Did you hear that? It's Joe Justice. We weren't expecting Joe Justice to be here tonight. We haven't even heard word. I didn't even see him in the back, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Toledo was lit on fire. And Joe Justice comes in a house of fire, going right to work on Renzo Lavelle. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is anybody's ball. Look at the contenders in this match. Look at the contenders in this thing. Zayden Storm, Jake Frost, Renzo Lavelle, Lou Crank, Jonte Keith, and Joe Justice. And here comes Bill Yard. On any given night, any of these guys could contend for that WBW title. Wait a minute. Lavelle gets clothesline, took. Lou Crank is eliminated, I think, and they've got Jonte hooked, and they tried to throw him over together, but Jonte was hooked under the rope there. And there comes Bill Yard just beating the tarnation out of the back of Zayden Storm. Super kick by Lavelle. Oh, Jonte hit the floor hard. And now Bill Yard and Zayden Storm just going at it. We know that these guys have been a long-time tag team. I mean, a long-time tag team. Legends in the tag team ranks, not just in WBW, but all over the world. And just in one foul swoop, it just changed. And Bill Yard decided he wanted to go his own way. He said he was tired of carrying Zayden Storm. I don't know if I can agree with that or not. Wait a minute, Bill Yard just tried to hoist Storm. Now Storm on the apron, dangerous position, and Joe Justice is hoisting Yard. And wait a minute, Yard lands on the apron, and it looks like he's coming back through the ropes, and here comes the Flea. Wait a minute, Yard and Storm just eliminated each other. Now that changed things. That changed things immensely, as both of those guys are top contenders for the world title any night of the week. And there you see Jonte Keith. He was hurt very bad as he hit the floor, as WBW staff and Lou Crank are carrying him to the back. I think that he's going to be on his way to the hospital. Wait a minute, Lou Crank catches the Flea. Joe Justice catches the Flea, and he tried to throw him over, but the Flea held on, and there goes the Flea. No, he's still going to air. No, the Flea's gone. The Flea is out of here, and here is Phoenix. Joe Justice just drop kicked him right as he got in the ring. Boots and fists and whatever else you can come up with from Joe Justice as he's assaulting Phoenix. Joe Justice seems like he's come here to win this darn thing. Well, here, I think it's Eli McFly's music. I'm sorry I got distracted. There was an altercation among the fans right over here near my desk over who's going to win, Jake Frost or Joe Justice. And Jake Frost is now hoisting Renzo. And ladies and gentlemen, we're told in the monitor that we're down to the final 5. This is the last guy in this thing. Renzo hanging on over there. Phoenix hooked over here. Phoenix looks like he's in a bad position. And wait a minute, Joe Justice helped him up there. Looks like he's trying to free his leg. What sportsmanship shown by Justice, but then he just elbowed him right in the head. Phoenix is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, might I dare, we have the final 4 here, and the last of those men haven't even gotten in the ring yet. Eli McFly's just wandering around. Renzo and Jake Frost still going at it. They've been going at it since the inception of this thing, since both men have been in the ring, and it has been non-stop the whole time. Joe Justice going to come over now and break that up and going to put the boots to Renzo, as there you see Phoenix on his way out, and Phoenix might have been one of your picks. A top wrestling star all over the world as Joe Justice continues to assault Renzo Lavelle. And here comes Eli McFly finally. And wait a minute, he's trying to put a stop to things. Is he going to preach peace instead of war? Joe Justice just tore Eli McFly's head off, and now he's going to work on Eli McFly, so there's no running and hiding, no trying to beg your way out of this one, young man. You're in the ring with the top of the top, the best of the best. And wait a minute, Eli McFly, well, he just McFlew. Ladies and gentlemen, Eli McFly, we will holler at you later, young man. We know you'll be in action later. And wait a minute, Renzo Lavelle's out of here. And then there were two, Joe Justice and Jake Frost. And this place is chanting USA. Listen to the audience. Good show of sportsmanship. The referee in the ring now, they're shaking hands. And now is the time that you make your pick. Jake Frost or Joe Justice. One of these two men are going to go meet Chris Chambers. And wait a minute, Jake Frost is trying to hook Frostbite on Justice here. Justice is fighting back, but Jake Frost is, wait a minute, Frostbite! Jake Frost just hit Frostbite on Justice. All he's got to do now is pick him up and launch him over the top rope. Look outside the ring there. Wait a minute, we forgot about Brendan McGregor. Brendan McGregor comes in, Jake Frost is gone, but Justice is up. Brendan McGregor's out of here, and Joe Justice has just won the Big Time Rumble. Joe Justice has won. And I can't believe my eyes. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan McGregor was lying right outside. We forgot he had taken a seat and bought some popcorn. He came in thinking he was going to make a major move, but Joe Justice made the major move. WBW, the main event, Joe Justice versus Chris Chambers in the most historical match in WBW's history. The most historical match that will ever take place for this great company. Joe Justice, Chris Chambers, the World Heavyweight Championship. Stay right here. Stay with us. It's going to happen tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Cross right here back with you at WBW Big Time Rumble, and we have a guest that has joined us, the one and the only, the commissioner of WBW, Eddie Ortega. And Eddie, how in the world are you doing?
Mr. Nicholas Cross, how are you this evening?
Fantastic. Eddie Ortega, we just witnessed a match that you set up, and it was of epic proportions, the Big Time Rumble. And out of nowhere, here comes Joe Justice to win the thing, and he wasn't even expected to be here. How in the world do you feel after such an epic moment in WBW history?
Well, that definitely gave me goosebumps, man. That was definitely an epic moment for WBW.
Well, let's not take away from anything going on right now. Earlier tonight, Eddie, you started something between Handgun Dan and Otis, and of course, this is going to continue in the first singles match of the evening as we see Otis now making his way to the ring, and you have had quite the time with Otis yourself, Mr. Ortega.
Yeah, he does have a butt whooping coming, as I said before, but unfortunately I couldn't do it tonight.
Well, I don't think you used the word butt when you were in the ring, and of course the audience went crazy. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes around here about one Otis, about how he's off kilter, about how he's off the side, crazy even, maybe even drunk half the time. But there's something you can't take away from this big 325-pound man, and that's the fact that he can actually get the job done inside the ring.
Very dangerous man inside the ring. Like you said, I mean, I don't really like his attitude, but you know, you can't deny that he's a very dangerous man in the ring.
And of course, another dangerous man in the ring is Handgun Dan. But I'm curious, after the Big Time Rumble with that rib injury we saw, of course, there you see him holding his head and his ribs. That young man got hurt earlier, and it may not be the wisest of decisions to continue through with this, especially with one guy like Otis. Everything and anything can happen, and it's such a dangerous position for Handgun Dan to put himself in, but you got to give the kid credit for having the heart.
Yeah, well, sometimes, you know, his heart's bigger than his brain. You know, he's going to go in there and fight regardless. He's a very resilient man.
But you might question whether or not he should be holding his ribs, because all he's doing is just painting a perfect picture for where Otis needs to assault him. And Otis, no matter what you say about him, he's not a complete idiot. He knows exactly what he's doing in that ring. He's almost surgical in his way that he attacks.
Most definitely. I mean, you know, right off the bat, he's going to go ahead and target them ribs. I know if I was Otis, I'd probably do the same thing.
No doubt in my mind. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we want to mention to you that later tonight, in what I have called the most historical WBW event, we will see the first ever WBW World Heavyweight Champion crowned as Chris Chambers and Joe Justice meet. So stay tuned for the main event, Chris Chambers versus Justice. Eddie Ortega, do you got to pick?
I mean, how can you pick? I mean, wow. It's going to be a fun match to watch, and this roof will blow off, I guarantee.
Absolutely, as we're getting ready to lock horns, and of course, there was no locking horns there as Otis went right to work right away, right on the ribs of Handgun Dan, and there you see Handgun Dan already in trouble, and Otis giving a piece of his mind to the referee as he just kicks him in the ribs again. Now, you've been in the ring with Otis many times. As a matter of fact, Eddie Ortega, you were hurt by Otis. What is it like? How do you prepare for a guy like Otis?
Well, he's all over the place. You don't know which way he's coming, so there's really no way to prepare. Just grit your teeth and bear it and go in there, and maybe even you might have to go in there and take a few swigs of the moonshine yourself just so you're in the right mind frame for Otis.
He just kicked Handgun Dan right in the posterior. And of course, for those of you who don't know what Eddie Ortega was just talking about, it is heavily noted that these guys might have some moonshine distilleries in the backwoods of Tennessee somewhere that they tap into regularly. As you see Jethro Odysseus outside the ring holding that mason jar, and Otis just continues to assault Handgun Dan in the ribs.
And doing a little dance move while he's doing it.
But Handgun Dan is now firing back. He's got Otis over in the corner. Right hand after right hand after right hand, right into the chin, and Otis looks like he may be in trouble. And Handgun Dan really needs to stay on the guy as he comes in with a big clothesline in the corner, and Otis goes down hard. He rolls Otis over.
This might be over.
Wait a minute. 1, 2, no! Otis kicked out.
I really thought it was over there.
I would venture to say, though, that it's going to take a lot more than a clothesline in a corner to put away the big 325-pound monster. And wait a minute. Otis just went low, and it looked like the referee acknowledged the fact that Otis went low. Should have been a disqualification.
Yeah, I think he's going to let it go. Oh! I think he wants to see a finish, and I think the fans want to see an outcome of this match. They don't want to see a disqualification.
So are you telling us, Commissioner Eddie Ortega, that you told the referee, as Otis just kicks Handgun in the ribs again, that you've told the referees tonight to be a little bit more lax?
Just a little more lenient. I mean, you know, we're here to entertain the fans. We want to see the outcome of the match. We want to see people win and lose. We're not here for a disqualification. Although, you know, you can be lax, but, you know, don't go too overboard.
Don't go too overboard. Well, somebody might say that Otis was just going overboard, right over the board and the bridge of Handgun Dan's nose.
Yeah, and that's a painful spot to be in.
Otis just took Handgun Dan just took Otis down, and he looks like he may be out in the middle of the ring, and Handgun Dan is starting to get fired up here. He needs to stay on Otis. Big back elbow taking the big man down. 325 pounds going down is no joke, and Handgun really needs to stay on the guy.
Yes, he does, but you know what? I know he knows what he's doing. He's from the streets of Detroit. I'm sure he's had to fight a few times.
Wait a minute, Eddie Ortega. Big body slam by Handgun Dan, and Otis goes down hard. And like a veteran, he's going to take a powder and get out of the ring.
Wow. That just shows you the strength. It doesn't look like he's a very strong guy, but obviously it takes serious strength to lift up a 300-pound man.
Of course, Otis went to the outside to get away from Handgun Dan, but Handgun Dan gave chase. And wait a minute, Jethro Odysseus just grabbed Handgun Dan, and Handgun Dan just chopped him down like a twig.
I love it.
Otis looks like he's out on his feet.
Did he take a few drinks while he was out there?
Maybe so. There's no telling with these two. Handgun Dan's back in the ring now. What are we going to see? Big Texas tornado punch. This should be over.
I seen a tooth. I know I seen a tooth.
I think it landed on her table. Wait a minute. Otis is not going down.
What's he looking at?
He just put Otis in the head. Now Otis goes down. No doubt about it. Handgun down there with the far right. 1, 2, 3. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Handgun Dan picks him up one with a Texas tornado punch, and Otis is out like a light.
Is he twitching? Man.
He may be punch drunk. And there's your winner, ladies and gentlemen.
Good to see. Good to see Handgun Dan with his hand being raised.
And there you see the replay, and there was that big Texas tornado punch. And then all it took after that was a finger right to the head, and Otis was down and out for the 3 count.
The index finger of death.
No doubt about it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, action personified as always at WBW Warfare, but we're calling this WBW Big Time Rumble. And we have so much more to come, including action from Rapid Fire. But we're curious to note how Jonte Keith is doing after that vicious spill that he took after the super kick from Renzo Lavelle in the Big Time Rumble. As we're going to the ring now, back to our colleague Denny Crow. Eddie Ortega, what in the world was that all about?
What is going on in my locker room?
You got guys running around in bodysuits.
Oh my.
Well, I don't mean to lighten the mood or stiffen it either way, but here's a serious situation right there as Fizz Ed, ladies and gentlemen, a very dangerous competitor.
Yeah, very egotistical competitor too. This guy thinks he's God's gift to wrestling.
Well, I don't mean to take the devil's advocate here, but there's no way to deny that Fizz Ed has all of the pieces to the puzzle. All he's got to do is put them together, and tonight he's going to be going against somebody who I'm not sure if could even compete. Referee turned wrestler, lightweight.
Yeah, and the thing about Fizz Ed, man, great athlete, but such a sour attitude, and it's unfortunate that a guy like that, with the talent that he has to follow it up with such a bad attitude.
Eddie Ortega, it looks like we've got to head to a commercial break. We'll be right back right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Cross back with the commissioner of WBW, Eddie Ortega, and we are continuing live as lightweight is getting ready to get in the ring against the much larger, much more powerful man, Fizz Ed. And now, Eddie Ortega, you wrestled for many years before getting into the backstage politics, I guess you would say. If you were a guy like lightweight, how in the world would you react if you were to step in the ring with a guy like Fizz Ed?
Well, the first thing, man, you don't want to be intimidated, because that's what his game plan is. He's going to try to intimidate you before you even do the first move. So don't be intimidated. And a guy like that, you're not going to overpower him. You're definitely going to have to use your speed.
Of course, we hear Fizz Ed on the microphone as he is giving lightweight the option for the Fizz Ed challenge.
Jeez.
Wait a minute, lightweight says he can take the Fizz Ed challenge, so let's see if he can get through with these sit-ups here. As I'm sure that he's going to be able to, right? He surely can do sit-ups.
It's only 5. It's not like it's a exorbitant number.
There's 2, 3, and he's having trouble already. Fizz Ed just kicked him in the face.
You know what? I would have expected that. I should have known.
And Danny Crumb's getting out of there as the referee's calling for the bell, and now Fizz Ed is doing push-ups on the guy's back.
Yeah, don't take lightweight very lightly. I mean, I don't know, pun intended, but you misjudge anybody, and they're going to put you on the mat.
And here comes Fizz Ed, and lightweight gets out of the way, and Fizz Ed hits hard in the corner. And now lightweight's going to go to work on Fizz Ed with right hands over on top of him. And look at Fizz Ed already in trouble. Wait a minute. And there was the difference maker. Just that quick. Big clothesline.
Oh, man, lightweight's in trouble.
Just that quick, Commissioner Eddie Ortega. Fizz Ed can just change the mood of things with another big forearm to the back of lightweight. Fizz Ed can just change the mood, can change the pace, can just slow these smaller guys down without any problem as he just launches lightweight out of the ring.
Yeah, I've known lightweight for a while though, and I know this guy has more heart, so I'm not counting him out just yet.
And Fizz Ed looks like he's just going to let the referee get to 10, which may be a mistake on Fizz Ed's behalf. And I guess you're right, Eddie. He may be miscalculating what lightweight is capable of here, and he's just giving lightweight an opportunity to catch a breath.
Right. And the thing is that the thing that lightweight has is that he can prepare for Fizz Ed, but Fizz Ed really can't prepare for lightweight because this is his first match. He doesn't know what lightweight has.
Absolutely. The last time we saw lightweight, he was wearing a blue shirt and a bow tie. And now here he is in the middle of some action, getting pounded, might I add, very viciously. And look at this. Fizz Ed's just toying with the guy. Just toying with the guy. Wait a minute. Lightweight's got He applied an arm wringer. Lightweight has him in he applied an arm wringer.
Stay on him, kid.
And another one. And Fizz Ed looks like he's writhing in pain.
I don't think he was expecting that.
Wait a minute. Just that quick. And he may have torn the rotator cuff right there of poor lightweight, if I can sympathize with the guy. Fizz Ed has amazing power.
Yeah, he was refereeing last match. I guess he couldn't take watching the action any longer and had to be a part of it.
Fizz Ed going around and lightweight just hooked him and flipped him right over, and Fizz Ed's now down, and lightweight's just pounding him in the face, and I gotta be honest, it's a closed fist, but what are you gonna do against a guy like Fizz Ed?
Right, I mean, you gotta do what you can. And here he goes.
Is he gonna be? He was able to monkey flip the big man right out of the corner, and lightweight now coming over, and he snaps Fizz Ed back. He's back into the corner again, and he kicks him right in the chest, and Fizz Ed's worse for wear. He's gonna take a powder and get the heck out of Dodge.
He started building momentum, but then Fizz Ed had to get out of the ring to cut the momentum down. It might have been a smart move because lightweight was definitely starting to pick up momentum there.
This is the worst thing for lightweight is that Fizz Ed is slowing things down, getting him matched back in the pace that he wants it, and now he's going to get back in the ring on his terms and his time. And wait a minute, lightweight ducked the clothesline. Fizz Ed now hooks him, and what are we going to see here? Bulldog!
Oh, it's over.
It could be over.
Pin him, kid.
All that lightweight's got to do, look at the instant replay here. Fizz Ed looks like he was going for a barrel wheel, and then just lightweight took him right down into a bulldog. And what's lightweight going to do here?
This could cost him, Nicholas. He should have pinned him.
He's taking these high risks when it maybe was not even necessary. As he comes off and up, yeah, there you go. Fizz Ed just catches him in midair. Fizz Ed catches him. And what are we going to see here? Oh, we've seen this before. He's just going to drop him. Run on his face. Run on his face. And Fizz Ed knows it. Now he's setting him up. We're going to see that vicious leg lariat, I imagine, coming up any time. Now here it comes, and there it is! And lightweight's finished. 1, 2, 3. Watch this again, Eddie Ortega. Look at that man. All that weight coming right down on the chest of lightweight. And there's nowhere for that young man to go.
And lightweight really could have had the match in the bag. I think he went to the well too many times there.
After that bulldog earlier, one would imagine that if lightweight would have just took the opportunity to hook a leg on Fizz Ed, that he might have got a victory. And here you hear WBW audience giving Fizz Ed a piece of their mind.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to give them a piece of his too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's not forget Rapid Fire will be in action, but we're curious the condition as we have yet to receive any information in our monitors about Jonte Keith. He was super kicked off the apron, and then he hit the floor very, very hard, and it could be a concussion, it could be worse. We'll keep you posted on that. And then the main event, Joe Justice versus Chris Chambers, first ever WBW World Champion. And ladies and gentlemen, for Eddie Ortega, this is Nicholas Cross. We'll be right back right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Cross and Eddie Ortega, the commissioner of WBW, back here with you at WBW Warfare. I've been calling it Big Time Rumble, and we're getting ready for this hot young athlete named Cast. And man, Eddie, did he have a showing in the Big Time Rumble or what?
Man, and this is the kid's first event. He's a WBW student. He come out here and really showed people a thing or two. He's coming out making a statement right off the bat.
I'm not sure the young man's name earlier. He was a surprise entrant into the big-time Rumble, but he came flying out like no man's business, dove in the ring, stood up, and Cass just super kicked his face off. The crowd went crazy. Wait a minute.
Man, that was an excellent super kick. I heard it all the way in the back.
What in the world? Who did... Parts unknown. Marshmallow Morpher? Wait a minute, this is one of those guys from earlier.
Who is this guy? And why is he in my locker room? Why is he even in a match?
Wait a minute, he's holding his stomach. Wait.
Oh.
We saw the little blue one. The blueberry is what I'll call him. He had some X-Lax.
I wonder if he slipped it in that water. Oh my goodness.
What in the world is up with this costume? He looks like a Power Ranger.
He looks like a putty from the Power Rangers.
What?
I don't know. I don't know if he can wrestle. He doesn't look like he's too well.
He certainly is holding his stomach. He's walking real slow, but then again, we don't know anything about this guy. Maybe he holds his stomach and walks real slow. But we do know that Cass was a ball of fire earlier. Wait a minute. Oh, no, he's saying he don't want him.
I think he's not feeling too well. Oh, man.
Wait a minute. He tried to walk away, but Cass stopped him and kicked him right in the midsection. And now Cass scoops him. What are we going to see here? Big, huge
nice
body slam. And the Morpher's not even moving.
Is he dead? Well, no, his head's moving.
Eddie Ortega.
Oh, what is that stench? Oh,
goodness gracious.
Oh, look at the ref. He does. Oh.
Wait a minute. Oh, my God!
Clean up on aisle 2.
Eddie Ortega, it looked like your show just became crappy. Goodness gracious.
Wow.
The Morpher's getting the heck out of Dodge, and there's a stain in the middle of the ring. Don't come up here. Good grief, it's a smell. Let's look at this again. There you see Cass slamming the Morpher, and then the Morpher turns around, and he's got a stain. He's got skid marks.
Maybe it's to Cass's benefit that he didn't want to wrestle anymore. I sure in the heck wouldn't want to wrestle that guy after he pooped on himself.
Oh, man, the stench here. We're going to have to get somebody out here to get that cleaned up, and then, of course, the stench. And in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Nicholas Cross for Eddie Ortega, and we got to go to another break. We'll be right back with some more WBW action right after this. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are back. Goodness gracious, this is still a putrid stench as we see Bill Yard and Renzo Lavelle. Goodness.
Somebody put some Febreze. Jeez.
Febreze, we need to open the roof and let a breeze in. Give me a break. I haven't seen anything like that ever in my entire career. I've been doing this 20 years and never have I seen a Marshmallow Man take a body slam and then have skid marks when he got up.
Hey, you see something new every day, especially in the WBW.
No doubt about it. You never know what to expect. Wait a minute. Bill Yard has a microphone. Speaking of not knowing what to expect. Give me a break. Oh my goodness. Bill Yard, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
You know, him and Zayn used to be good time friends, almost brothers, and now they're enemies. Very sad story.
One of the most legendary tag teams in independent wrestling, Original Sin, and then just out of nowhere, Bill Yard turns on him and chooses to follow this other path, and there you see his tag team partner, Renzo Lavelle, and man, what a choice he made there.
Very big man. He's very strong. Man, very strong man.
6'4", 245 pounds is Renzo Lavelle. He is no joke at all. Of course, you look at Bill Yerd, 5'6", just under 200 pounds, but he's really no joke at all either.
No, I mean, as much as I hate to say it because he does have a mouth on him, but he does back it up. I mean, he's for his size, he does pack a punch. He's strong and quick.
And wait a minute, Bill, you're just continuing to give lip to both Zayden Storm and this great capacity house here tonight. And you got to know that Zayden Storm's not just going to sit back.
Oh no, Zayden Storm is not going to back away from a fight, even if he has to come out here by himself. He's not going to back down from the fight.
Wait a minute. There's Zayden Storm's music, and there's Zayden Storm.
I don't see anybody with him.
I don't either. It's kind of unnerving to think that Zayden Storm would be coming out here by himself to wrestle both Bill Yerd and Renzo Lavelle, both men very dangerous. Of course, let's talk about Renzo Lavelle for a moment. It was him that caused the injury to John Tate Keith earlier. And who knows what else he's capable of doing.
Yeah, but like I said, Zayden Storm isn't going to back away from a fight. He'll fight these guys. It might not be the smartest thing, but if he has to, he'll be in here and he'll fight both guys on his own.
He just jerked the microphone right out of Yerd's hand.
I think he hurt Yerd's hand.
Shut your trap, he says. Oh my goodness, he caught him in a paloopa. Wait a minute. Zayden Storm says he found a new tag team partner.
I wonder who it could be. I thought I booked everybody in the match tonight.
Who could this be? Wait a minute, I recognize that music. Wait a minute, it's Jake Breaker.
Jake Breaker, he's been out for nearly 10 years.
Eddie Ortega, it's Jake Breaker, and look, he looks phenomenal. He looks better than he ever has.
Oh my goodness, I would have never expected this. Like I said, you can expect anything in the WBW. Holy cow.
I can't believe that Zayden Storm went to the woodwork and he pulled out Jake Breaker, and look at the size of Jake Breaker. He looks phenomenal.
Man, he looks like he did 10 years ago. Maybe even better.
Maybe even bigger than I remember. I'll tell you what, you got to watch out for Jake Breaker. He has one of the most vicious clotheslines in the business, and it looks like we're going to start with Bill Yerd and Zayden Storm.
Oh, wow.
And you know that Zayden Storm has been wet weathering. Oh, of course. And Renzo, now 6'4", 245 pounds. This guy is a monster.
I mean, how do you prepare for a team like that? One's going to hit you with power, one's going to hit you with speed. Oh, and Zayden tags out.
Of course, you got to know that there's got to certainly be some rust on one Jake Breaker, but look at that. You just can't take away from the size of Jake Breaker, and he may be the match for Renzo's power for sure.
Definitely a show of power versus power right here.
I can't wait to see these big bulls lock horns.
Renzo Lavelle looks like he doesn't want to do it. Oh, here we go.
Big collar and elbow lockup now. Renzo getting the best of him, pushing him off in the corner. But Jake Breaker don't look too happy about that, as he just shoves Renzo back.
This might start to turn into a brawl here.
Look at the triceps, the definition of the triceps on Jake Breaker. This guy is a monster. He's bigger than he ever has been, and he's not taller than Renzo by any stretch, but he certainly is towering over Renzo by his broad shoulders. He'll go back into a lockup now. Renzo takes him back into the corner once again. Or you just see a clean break.
Oh.
Not. He just chopped Jake Breaker, and Jake Breaker.
He's just shaking it off. Did that phase Jake?
Maybe Jake Breaker's pumped and ready to go.
That wasn't a soft chop by any means.
Bill Yerd continuing to run his mouth as Jake Breaker this time pushes Renzo back into the other corner, closest to us. And there he just chopped. Did you hear that thunder off the walls, Eddie Ortega?
He might have rearranged his chest.
Back into a lockup again, and this time Renzo attaches himself with a headlock. Like a pit bull he's latched on as Jake Breaker whips him off. Ducks a clothesline, it looked like. And wait a minute, Renzo caught him right in the midsection with a crescent kick.
That definitely took the wind out. I could see the air leave his body.
You can see a grimace written across the face of Jake Breaker, and now Renzo, just like an attack dog, staying on the guy, continuing to pummel away at Jake Breaker. And now what are we going to see here as he sets him into the ropes? Jake ducks the clothesline, and there's one of those clotheslines. And Renzo's going to take a leave of absence after Jake Breaker just nailed it.
I don't think he was really expecting that. That's why he had to get out of the ring and regroup because it's hard enough getting hit with that clothesline, but when you're not expecting it, it's 10 times worse.
Jake Breaker showing that he still got it as he ducked the clothesline, anticipated Renzo, and then spun around and gave Renzo one of those massive, legendary Jake Breaker clotheslines, and it looks like Renzo's got a bloody nose.
Uh-oh.
And what are they doing? Are they just taking notes? Are they giving a pep rally over here? Let's get some action going.
Oh, wait. Didn't they tag? He touched him. They tagged. Uh-oh.
Goodness gracious. Another Jake Breaker clothesline, and now Breaker's got him over in the corner, and he's punched him in the gut.
I think they tagged. I think he inadvertently tagged in. Bill Yard tagged himself in inadvertently.
Well, the referee certainly needs to be doing his job here. Oh, Bill Yard knocked off the apron by Zayden Storm, but Zayden's got him by the back of the head, by the nape of his hair, and he's going to bring him in the hard way.
Zayden is pumped up. He's ready to go. Oh.
He may be pumped up, Eddie Ortega, but he certainly made a mistake by getting up there on the ropes. And wait a minute. Oh, goodness gracious. They had that planned all along, it looks like.
Yeah, it was planned all right. Oh, what a kick to the face.
Right to the cheek.
Zayden's in trouble early here.
Wait a minute. Bill Yard's got Zayden by the boot, dragging him out. And now they're fighting on the floor. Well, I don't want to say they're fighting. Bill Yard's pounding Zayden Storm on the floor.
Come on, ref, get some order.
Wait a minute, he just backdropped him right on the floor right there. That mat is only an inch thick underneath that. Is nothing but concrete.
I think the ref needs to get a little more involved in trying to get these guys in order here, man. This is going to dissolve quickly.
Wait a minute. We're having some sound issues. There we go. We got our sound back. And Zayden reverses, and oh my God, he just slammed Bill Yard's head right off the steel barricade.
Definitely ate some steel there. He got his daily intake of iron.
Bill Yard looks like he's got a dent on his forehead as Zayden Storm gives him a side Russian leg sweep right out there on the floor.
That couldn't tickle for either of the guys. They both landed hard on their back.
Oh, Bill Yard goes downstairs. And then he comes in to break the count. Now he's going to go back to Zayden Storm. And what's he going to do here? DDT! DDT, but the bigger story is that Zayden didn't hit that mat. He hit that floor.
And great, I hate to say it, but great awareness by Bill Yard to roll back in to break the count.
Now Bill Yard still giving chase to Zayden Storm as he's putting the boots to him. Last time we saw these two together, we thought that we were going to see Original Sin, and out of nowhere, Bill Yard makes a decision to stab his longtime tag team partner in the back. If that doesn't speak to the quality, wait a minute, what's Bill Yard going to do here? Top rope.
High-risk maneuvers.
Split leg moonsault, and he nailed it. Zayden Storm's in trouble. 1, 2, and he kicked out.
Ooh. I surely thought that was over with.
No doubt in my mind is Bill Yard showing us some technique there as he brings Zayden back to his feet and tags in Renzo Lavelle, and they've got the ring cut in half so that Zayden can't reach Jake Breaker, and Jake Breaker looks like he's ready to get in that ring and do some damage.
Ooh, doing a good job of isolating Zayden Storm.
Wait a minute, he's going to cover 1, 2. No, he got to kick out again.
Zayden Storm's a fighter, though. He's not going to give up that easy.
Zayden Storm, one of the most fan-friendly men here in WBW as he goes off the ropes now. And I'm not sure what happened there, but Renzo basically just dropped him, and now Renzo's going for some type of submission maybe.
Like a sharpshooter figure 4 clover 4 leaf. Something like that.
Renzo has him hooked here in a modified something. It looks like a form of the figure four, but something.
The
a little
Renzo
different.
lock.
But you can see that Zayden Storm is writhing in pain, and his shoulders were down as the referee got a 2 count. And Renzo is begging and saying, no, I think that was a 3, but Zayden clearly got his shoulder up, and now Renzo's going to get back up and do something else. Now it looks like he's going for the real deal.
Uh-oh.
He's having some trouble here.
Uh-oh.
And Renzo
got
got
locked
fight
in.
again, but Zayden Storm's going to fight back. Both men now just smacking each other in the face.
Uh-oh. Get off your shoulders, Zayden.
The referee's in position there, watching every moment. Zayden Storm's got to get himself out of this position very quickly. And for some reason, Renzo let go and just starts pounding away right on the face of Zayden Storm.
I just don't think he had it locked in tight enough.
Wait a minute, that's one man you don't want to be messing with, Renzo. Getting over there in the face of Jake Breaker. Renzo taking Zayden Storm down over his corner.
Straight and start some stuff.
Here comes Renzo, big back elbow. Zayden's in trouble. There goes Renzo again. And here he comes with that senton. All the body weight coming right down into the breadbasket. And Zayden Storm is having some issues.
That's nearly 250 pounds going like a bowling ball straight into your stomach.
He whips Zayden in again. What are we going to see here? Zayden now off the ropes, comes across with the forearm. And Renzo's down. Zayden Storm's down. Zayden's got to get to Jake Breaker and make a tag.
Great desperation move by Zayden Storm. Now he needs to take advantage and get to Jake Breaker.
The referee's up to a 4 count here as Zayden Storm starting to slowly make his way to Jake Breaker.
Uh-oh. Here they go.
Tag was made. Here comes Yurt. There's one of those clotheslines, and Yurt is down. Breaker's got him up. Now he's got him into a fireman's carry. Over into a throw. What's Jake Breaker going to do? Wait a minute. Bill Yurt's going out of the ring. Jake Breaker, you need to turn around. Zayden Storm to save the day. Jake Breaker now giving chase outside. He's all over Bill Yurt. Like white on rice, a glass of milk, a paper plate, and a snowstorm. And Bill Yurt's face hits the canvas, and Jake Breaker, is going to give chase and put the boots to him. But right behind
what's Renzo doing? Uh-oh. Turn around, Breaker.
What in the world?
What is Renzo doing?
What is he doing? He's dancing. Oh! He lured Jake Breaker right into that one. And
Why
now
would he fall for that?
And now, wait a minute, Spinebuster over there on that side. This is pandemonium. It's hard to keep up with what's going on here.
Come on, ref, get some order in there. Jeez.
The referee needs to take control for sure as Jake Breaker and Zayden Storm are standing, and Renzo's gone now. And there's a tag. Zayden's now the legal man, I think.
Wow, I don't know. I couldn't keep up with all that crazy action.
You got Renzo on one side. Oh, no. Bill Yurt has the pull stick.
Uh-oh.
What are we going to see here? Zayden Storm.
Uh-oh.
He just got him right in the midsection. Oh, my God. He just broke the pull stick over Zayden Storm's back.
All while the referee's back was turned.
Strategy by Bill Yurt, and you know that he had that set up all along.
The ref didn't catch any of it.
Now what's Bill Yurt going to do? He's going to go for that sledge off the top. Bill Yurt's going to go for it, but Jake Breaker was there.
Excuse me.
Big right hand by Zayden Storm, and now both men are in a precarious position up here. What are we going to see? Bill Yurt's up on the top. Wait a minute. It was a brainbuster. A brainbuster suplex from the top rope, and Bill Yurt's out cold.
Yeah, he's done. There's no way he can get up from that.
Zayden just drop kicked Renzo Lavelle, and now he's scooping up Bill Yurt. Kicks him in the midsection.
What's he going to do here?
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got a 1, 2, 3.
Renzo Lavelle tried to break it up, but he didn't get there in time.
Jake Breaker and Zayden Storm walk away with a victory in one of the most Mongolian matches that I've ever seen in my career. You couldn't keep up with anything. But the bigger story here is Jake Breaker returns after 10 years of a hiatus.
And to come, I thought I was bad coming back after 7 years, but this man came back after 10 years and made it quite a showing here.
Won the first match back and chose a great partner. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, for Eddie Ortega, this is Nicholas Cross, and we've got to take another break.
Have you ever dreamed of being a professional wrestler? It's time you start living that dream. The WBW Pro Wrestling School, located at 444 West Lassie Road in Toledo, is looking for all shapes and sizes to train for professional wrestlers, managers, and referees. Check out the school online, WBWrestling.com, or call 567-297-0WBW. That's 567-297-0929 to set up your trial.
All right, Nicholas Cross, Eddie Ortega, the commissioner of WBW, back, and we got the Flea on his way to the ring. And ladies and gentlemen, earlier on tonight, Eddie Ortega, during the Big Time Rumble, Brendan McGregor came to the ring, slid under the bottom rope, and back out underneath the ring, and sat ringside and watched the entire thing until it was down to the last 2 men. He jumps in the ring, ready to win the thing, and out of nowhere, Joe Justice launches him over the top rope like a lawn dart. Well, here's the statement that I want to make. The Flea now has duty of squaring off against the 6'7.5", 270-pound Brendan McGregor, and you know that Brendan McGregor is in a foul mood.
Yeah, I definitely do not. I definitely feel sorry for the Flea. I do not want to be in his situation right now against a man like Brandon McGregor. On top of that, he is furious.
There's just everything about Brendan McGregor is intimidation. Just the video, the music, everything about McGregor is a setup to just intimidate his opponents. He's 6'7.5", 270 pounds almost, and there you see he's walking with a purpose.
He is not a happy camper. He's right in the ring ready to handle business.
Wait a minute, I was surprised he didn't just jump on the Flea already, but it looks like he's trying to calm himself down a little bit.
Maybe it's them voices in his head.
He just kicks the turnbuckle pad. This, I may suggest that we just go ahead and call this thing over right now. Just if we could throw the towel in, the Flea's a great performer. We love the Flea. But sometimes there's got to be a mercy rule, and this doesn't seem like it's going to be fair at all.
Yeah, but even if he had the option, I don't think the Flea would throw in the towel. He's has much more heart than that. Like I said before, some guys have bigger hearts than brains. Your brain would tell you to definitely not go ahead with this match, but he's got a big heart, and he's going to go ahead with this match.
McGregor seems to be calming down as he's offering a hand to shake the hand of the Flea. Now, this is a new thing from Brandon McGregor. Wait a minute. Oh, my God! Oh, my God, did you see that lariat? It nearly took the Flea's head off as it turned him inside out. No, Brendan McGregor is just banging the head of the Flea off the canvas.
You talk about one of the strongest clotheslines in the business. There's another one right there.
Absolutely. He's got the Flea up and just dumps him right on the back of his head. And the Flea landed squarely on the back of his head and his shoulder, and he may be in trouble. And Brendan McGregor's choking the man. Referee, you got to get in there and break up that choke. You got to get in there and break it up.
I don't think the Flea has a chance. I hate to say it, but I don't think he has a chance here.
McGregor back on him again with those knee strikes. We talk about strong style a lot in wrestling. Well, this is the epitome of strong style with those knee strikes as Brandon McGregor just lays him in. And what are we going to see here is he's just hanging the Flea up in the air.
Letting all the blood rush to his head.
Textbook vertical suplex by Brandon McGregor. And the Flea is down and the Flea is in trouble.
Oh. You can tell he's taking out his anger on poor Flea there.
With authority, he just stumps him right in the sternum, and now what is he going to do here? He just drops all the body weight right in the small of the back of the Flea.
I thought I heard his back crack from all the way over here.
That might have been every bone in his spine just shattering as McGregor does it again. And once again, I talk about throwing that towel in. This is not a good night to be wrestling McGregor as he's got the Flea and he's bending him like a bow and arrow, pulling back, torquing that lower back, that neck. And the Flea may just tap here.
I hope the Flea has a good medical policy. He's definitely going to have to take a trip to the hospital after this is over with.
McGregor was stepping on his face, right on the masked face of the Flea as the camera is going crazy out in the audience. And now what's McGregor going to do? Oh, no, we've seen this a 1,000 times if we've seen it once. Oh, my God. The whiplash effect there as your head snaps back and then you snap forward, and then the Flea's face landed right on the canvas. And McGregor, I just want you to notice the pace that McGregor works at. He's slow and methodical. He's got the Flea. There's another one of those knee strikes.
And it's really hard to mount any kind of offense when he keeps kneeing you in the stomach and stuff like that. You can't catch your breath.
And now what McGregor's going to do is he scoops the Flea up, and we're going to probably see that crazy fall-away slam. And here we go. And oh my God! He just launched the Flea halfway across the ring. The Flea almost hit the referee.
One of the best fall-away slams in the business.
A lot of people have compared Brandon McGregor to Cowboy Stan Hansen on many occasions. I might even say Dick the Bruiser in there too. You know, Brandon McGregor is not one to take lightly.
Yeah, I was actually seeing shades of JBL with the clothesline and the fall-away slam.
European uppercut there nearly took the Flea's mask off, much less his face. And now Brandon McGregor once again just picking the Flea right back up as he's going to shoot him into the ropes now. What are we going to see here? The Flea went up trying his best to get some kind of offense. And wait a minute. Oh my God! All that McGregor has to do now is just pin the Flea and this thing's over. Here we go. 1, 2. No, the Flea kicked out!
Why? Why would he kick out? I mean, not to take anything away from the Flea, but geez, this guy is just gonna keep pounding you. You haven't had any offense. I see the heart. Oh!
He just kicked Brandon McGregor right in the face and then drop kicked him. And McGregor's down on his back, and this is exactly where the Flea needs to be. Just stomps him and then just drops the senton right all of his weight right on the chest of McGregor, and then kicks him in the back, and the Flea is a house of fire.
Maybe I spoke too soon.
Maybe so, Commissioner Eddie Ortega, but you couldn't have expected the Flea to come back from that slam that quickly. Here comes the Flea off in the corner, and now it's a Bronco Buster. Oh, my God. What's he going to do now? He's just pounding McGregor as he comes up again. Drop kick, and there you see that the Flea just slingshot his body weight up and then back down with all the momentum, all the force right in the jet. 1, 2, McGregor's got his foot on the rope.
How quickly have the tables have turned, and now Brandon McGregor finding himself in trouble.
I would have never in a million years expected this, especially with the mood that McGregor is in. And now the Flea's got the leg of McGregor as he snaps it over, and maybe that's good strategy there.
Excellent strategy. You know, a big guy like that, you want to take him off his base.
I don't know if I agree with the Flea's strategy now, just talking. And Brandon McGregor just gave the Flea a back body drop from a sitting position. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Flea definitely made a mistake there. He had to stay on top of him. And one false move there, and now Brandon's back on top maybe.
There you see him knocking the pain out of his knee. He may have torqued his knee there when the Flea did that snapping move from the top rope. And now the Flea's perched on the top rope clear across the ring from McGregor. And the Flea comes off, and this time he catches McGregor. The third time was the charm, too, and it's over. No, McGregor kicks out with authority.
Wow. I thought the Flea was getting ready to pull one out right there.
The Flea's got to stay on. Oh, no. That was a knee strike, this time to the face. And what's McGregor going to do? He's probably got evil intentions.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
He just whips the Flea all the way over into the steel barricade, and the Flea's ribs hit hard.
A lot of people getting their supplement of iron today.
No doubt it will. Brandon McGregor now with the Flea. What is he going to do, the poor guy? He's got him up over there in that corner. And there another knee strike. But you hear this audience firmly and squarely behind the Flea as McGregor just... It looked like he tied the Flea's boot into the barricade. Oh my God! He just kicked the Flea right in the hamstring.
Now he's just taking his anger out on Flea here. None of this is necessary. You just get the guy in the ring and wrestle the guy. Now this is just this is poor sportsmanship right here, just beating a guy down because you're angry.
McGregor is certainly tormenting the Flea now on the outside of the ring as he goes in to break the count. We were pretty high up to an 8 count, I think it was. I'm not sure what McGregor's doing here. It just looks like he's sizing the Flea up, measuring him for something. And then he goes over and gets the Flea by the ears.
I don't think the Flea even knows where he's at right now.
McGregor off the ropes. Oh my God! Another one of those sickening clotheslines, and I heard the sickening thud off of the face when that clothesline hit him right in the face, and then the Flea hit hard right on the small of his back right there on the apron.
Wow. He has to be done. You know, if Brandon McGregor was smart and not trying just to hurt the man, he could have pinned him right there. But no, he wants to showboat.
And now the Flea's back in the ring, and McGregor has got him by the head again. And it looks like he's just choking him or putting his finger in his eye. Who knows what he's doing?
He's just toying with him now. He can just get the match over with. Uh-oh.
Now McGregor's using the rope there to torque back on the Flea's neck. And the Flea, you know, is there not a mercy rule somewhere? Somebody just stop this damn match and throw in a towel.
I mean, I know I told the ref to be a little bit lenient, but come on. Now you're talking about the safety of our wrestlers. He needs to get in there and stop this thing if he can't defend himself.
Eddie Ortega, Brandon McGregor just put his hands on the referee, and the ref's calling for the bell. Rightfully
so. You don't put your hands on an official. That's against the rules.
Wait a minute. Let's hear what the official decision is. Brandon McGregor got himself disqualified. I mean, it was clear as the nose is on his face for putting his hands on the referee when clearly he didn't even have to do that. He had the match won, and now what is he doing? Oh, no, we've seen this before, that one-arm power bomb. Oh, my God.
You know, now that I think about it, I don't even think Brandon McGregor even cared about the outcome of this match. He just wanted to take his anger out on the Flea.
And he certainly did that. He decimated the Flea from bell to bell, from the beginning all the way till he got disqualified. And the Flea, we may need to get medical attention out there. That referee needs to be calling for some help. We need to get somebody down there to get Brandon McGregor out of the ring. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again with these technical difficulties here, because this audience is so loud at times, it's hard for either the commissioner or I to hear our monitors, but we're headed right into another match as we prepare for none other than Mr. Tennessee, the masked man that we don't know too much about at all, and his tag team partner, Phoenix.
Yeah, these are two guys that are making their WBW debut. So, you know, our scouting department picks these guys up, and they do a good job. Unfortunately, I really don't know much about these guys.
Well, I've had the opportunity to follow Phoenix's career for quite some time, as he's one of the top guys down in the state of Texas, wrestling all over the state of Texas. And, of course, Not much can be said
Mr.
about
Tennessee over there. Mr. Tennessee over there taking a siesta, it looks like.
Maybe a nap. Maybe he's had some of Jethro Odysseus' special liquid. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking all night about the injury of Jonte Keith as we prepare for the entrance of Rapid Fire, and I'm curious to know if he's going to be here or if maybe it's going to be Lou Crank by himself.
Or maybe he got another tag team partner, because I'm telling you what, it didn't look good. Jonte Keith was out cold.
Of course, there's the music of Rapid Fire. We're going to see right here real quick. There's Lou Crank, and there you hear the WBW audience going crazy for one Lou Crank.
I don't see Jonte anywhere. Looks like he's going to go solo tonight.
And wait a minute, he's motioning for somebody in the back.
Maybe he got a new partner.
No, it's Jonte Keith, but he don't look like he's in good shape.
Wow. Is that even a good decision to come out there?
They should have just taken the night off.
I mean, it shows heart, no doubt, but I mean, my goodness, the guy was knocked out unconscious.
There you see Jonte. He looks to be okay at the moment, but there's no denying what happened earlier. You can't take away from the fact that he was hurt very, very badly during the Big Time Rumble. But of course, the tag team of Rapid Fire, they're pretty serious contenders no matter where you are, and I'm not sure if Phoenix or Mr. Tennessee have any kind of chance against these guys.
I'm just surprised that Jonte Keith isn't in the ER somewhere and he's in a WBW ring right now.
Some may call it guts, some may call it bad decision making. I don't know. But all I do know is that with Jonte Keith and Lou Crank in any match, you're going to see some flying, you're going to see some wrestling, and it's going to get crazy. But wait, Phoenix just decides that out of the gate he's not going to have any part of it as he goes right after Jonte and Lou Crank.
And that might be a smart thing for Phoenix to do, is jump right on the injured Jonte Keith.
Of course, you see there that Phoenix is targeting the back of the head of Jonte, which is what hit the concrete floor earlier. Jonte was able to get out of the way, and now he just snapmares Phoenix right over. And what are we going to see here? Jonte looking like he's slow to get up there, but wait, both men now double drop kick, one to the back, one to the front, pancake Phoenix's face.
Yeah, you can tell Jonte Keith is just a little groggy from earlier, but he's still in there and he's still doing an excellent job.
And there came Mr. Tennessee to try to get some action, but both Jonte and Lou Crank were able to duck out of the way as they close line. Wait a minute, what are we going to see here? Jonte goes airborne, Lou Crank goes airborne, and there's carnage everywhere.
How in the world can they do that? Jonte Keith, after being knocked out and then he's doing moves like that, that's amazing.
You can't take anything away from Jonte Keith. Earlier tonight, we thought he had a concussion, if not worse, and now here he goes airborne out of nowhere. And
wow, just
Phoenix
amazing.
And Mr. Tennessee laying there nearly distraught and out of this thing.
I wonder where Mr. Tennessee's from.
I heard that he was from Sarasota, Florida. No doubt the beautiful colors of the Tennessee Volunteers there being worn by one Mr. Tennessee, and I'm not sure if you would call that a gimmick or just a big fan of his home state. But there you see the power of Phoenix as it just one clothesline to both Jonte and Lou Crank, and they're both down. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm starting to become. Yeah, I'm starting to become concerned about Jonte. Yeah, he has heart, but I'm starting to become concerned at this point.
Well, Phoenix is not going to lay off of Jonte Keith no matter what, and there he's got him, and once again just focusing all of his attention on that head of Jonte. And you got to know that everybody in the back saw what happened to Jonte. They saw him when he got into the ambulance, but we're told that he refused to leave the premises from the back of the ambulance. And there you see Phoenix just continuing to hammer away, and finally Lou Crank's going to come over to stop this. Look at Jonte. Oh no, Jonte looks like he's in trouble, Eddie.
Man, and you know, the thing with Phoenix, you know, I don't really like his attitude, but you know, when somebody you gotta attack somebody's weakness, and the weaknesses of Jonte Keith is the fact that he got knocked out and may not be 100%, so he's gonna jump on top of that.
Jonte Keith is hardly moving, and there you see Phoenix just mocking Lou Crank with Jonte's hand. Jonte Keith can't even get on. His legs don't even have the power to keep his body weight up as Phoenix just continues to lay in the assault.
I'm half tempted to leave the booth here and see if we can get the medical staff out there. This is looking pretty bad.
Something has to happen. And then there was a big mistake by Phoenix to knock Jonte over into the corner for Lou Crank. And Lou Crank ducks the clothesline, comes over the big flying back elbow. And now the tides have turned for sure as he gives him a leg lariat. And Crank is on fire up on the second rope here. He comes off with a diving, I don't know what it was, forearm, clothesline. He only got a 2 count.
Wow. This action is crazy. Even the cameraman's having a hard time keeping up with it.
I'm having a hard time keeping up with anything. Lou Crank off the ropes now, and he comes down with a headbutt right on the shoulder of one Phoenix. And wait a minute, we got a 1, 2, no! Phoenix kicked out. And wait a minute, Lou Crank just tagged Jonte Keith.
Is that a smart move?
I don't know. Jonte seems fine at this moment. What are we going to see here? Wait a minute. Interesting position. Did you hear that shot?
Man.
Keith, 1. Was it a 2? Did I miss the 1? It's getting crazy in here as Jonte sends Phoenix in. Leapfrog. Comes across Enziguri.
Oh.
And Phoenix is in trouble.
Scary.
He hooks the far leg. 1, 2. No! Phoenix kicked out.
Oh. I swear I thought Phoenix was knocked out from that Enziguri.
And Jonte Keith needs to stay on the man. But Jonte, I don't know. He just looks off kilter compared to the normal Jonte that we know.
I think he's just running off the instinct at this point.
Look at where he landed, right on the back of his head.
Oh my!
Don't do it! Oh, Phoenix is just putting the boots. And now Phoenix is standing on the back of the head of Jonte Keith, and the referee needs to cut that out right now.
I'm starting to wonder if the referee needs to maybe call this match, because now you're starting to get into the safety of these guys, and you got to look out for the safety of the wrestlers. That's one of your jobs as a referee.
And now Phoenix is tagging in Mr. Tennessee. And Mr. Tennessee just once again, they're just focused right on the face and the head of Jonte. And now Mr. Tennessee, I'm not sure if I think he was poking him in the eye. Chop by Jonte Keith. And Phoenix is back in the ring now as Mr. Tennessee takes a pill and stands outside. Well, they say they make a tag, even though we know they didn't. But you know what? At this point, it doesn't really matter. I'm more concerned about the safety of Jonte Keith as Phoenix is drop-kicked him out to the side of the ring. And once again, Jonte Keith landed on his back and the back of his head on the floor.
I think right now it looks like their strategy might be to have the referee call the match, because I think that's what they're trying to do at this point, is trying to get Jonte injured and to have the referee call the match. That's what seems to be their strategy right now.
Phoenix is doing a very good job cutting the ring off from Lou Crank, and there he sends Jonte in to do a power slam, and this thing's over. All you gotta do is pin him. Wait a minute, Lou Crank comes in, spine buster.
Oh,
Phoenix is
I didn't see that one coming.
All that you got to do is cover Jonte Keith, and this thing's over. Here comes Mr. Tennessee as he's just going to put the boots to Jonte Keith, or the wrestling shoes, rather. And then he kicked him in right in the face.
The good old-fashioned wrestling shoes.
Jonte's still with fight in his body. Somewhere, somehow, he's digging out of nothing. And wait a minute. Look at Jonte. Look at Jonte. But he was able. No, he missed. And his head bounced right off the. His head bounced off the post, Eddie Ortega. 1, 2, no, Lou Crank. If it wasn't for Lou Crank, Commissioner Eddie Ortega, this thing would have been over, and we see that Lou Crank is angry.
I don't know. I'm questioning whether Lou Crank should have saved him or not. I mean, I understand he wants to win the match, but, man, Jonte is really taking a beating in there.
Mr. Tennessee makes the tag. And once again, Jonte Keith unable to get over to his tag team partner. And Phoenix continuing to levy this assault on Jonte Keith, and Jonte is there. There's nothing else to do for Jonte because he is in some serious trouble. And here comes Mr. Tennessee again, and he kicks Jonte. I'm telling you right now, you can't take anything away from Phoenix and Mr. Tennessee, because They're utilizing the tags. They're utilizing the other half of the ring. They're doing this thing perfectly, and they are assaulting the wounded animal of the two of rapid fire.
Right. I mean, it is excellent strategy, like I said. I think their strategy, like I said before, is almost to see if they can get the referee to call the match. Oh, what's
He
this?
was able to connect with a flying body splasher. And he got a kick out, but I think it was because Phoenix was making the save, and I was so distraught and surprised at the same time, and Jonte made a tag, but the referee didn't see it.
I think Jonte right now is just running on instinct.
I was so surprised that Jonte was able to connect that I couldn't even get my words out right, and once again, Phoenix just dragging Jonte over to his side of the ring. Even though we saw the tag, the referee didn't see the tag, and Jonte is once again, he's in some kind of deep trouble here. And what's Mr. Tennessee doing? He's just going to get in the ring and kick the guy. And Phoenix is just going to get out of the ring, and the referee's just going to let it go unless I miss the tag.
I don't know what happened there.
Jonte in. Big backdrop coming up, but no, Jonte gets a sunset flip. 1, 2, Mr. Tennessee kicks out, and then Jonte right in the face at the same time.
He almost pulled out one. He almost pulled it out. But, you know, I think things are favoring Phoenix and Mr. Tennessee favorably here.
And once again, we thought that there was hope because Jonte was crawling over, but Mr. Tennessee was able to hold onto the leg. And what are we going to see here? Something interesting. Mr. Tennessee has Jonte up, look like a little bit of a Mongolian situation. Jonte rolls over and then clotheslines Mr. Tennessee in the back of the head, and Luke Crank got a tag this time. Here comes Phoenix. There goes Crank. Big flying Hurricane Rana. I can't get my words out. Now here he comes. What's he going to do to Mr. Tennessee? Avalanche in the corner, and Mr. Tennessee's in trouble, followed up with the big bulldog. Jonte Keith is outside, but Luke Crank is a house of fire. Oh, my God.
Oh, he landed on his own partner.
Luke Crank got out of the way, and Phoenix just elbow dropped Mr. Tennessee. And here comes Jonte.
Oh.
Luke Crank with that missile drop kick. And all they got to do is pin Mr. Tennessee, and it's over. But Jonte is going up to the top rope himself.
What's he doing here?
Senton bomb. Mr. Tennessee, 1, 2. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. What just happened there? Was that a 6 count?
I believe it was. What I think happened was they realized Jonte wasn't the legal man, so then Luke Crank had to pin him.
Wait a minute, Eddie Ortega. Look over there. Look at Jonte Keith.
Oh, man. That does not look good.
Luke Crank using just that raw power and that amazing physique he has to pick up Jonte Keith, and Jonte can barely hold his arms up. I certainly hope that this kid goes to the hospital after this match, because not only has he taken a beating tonight, but in this match he took a beating, and he may have a concussion.
Most definitely. I mean, he has to go to the hospital, and the thing is, what amazes me is that he even came out here to wrestle, let alone they won the match. Oh, look at this.
Well, it's good to see that they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, especially Jonte Keith, and celebrate. But once again, the bigger story is Jonte Keith is clearly hurt. No matter what kind of face he's putting on for his fans, he's clearly hurt, and he needs to get to a hospital.
Most definitely. I mean, especially in recent news, you've seen more and more of the effects of concussion. So they really need to get to a hospital and make sure that, that he doesn't have a concussion.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we've got Jake Frost and some action coming up in just a moment. But right after that, I guess Commissioner Eddie Ortega will stay at the table with me, and we're going to call the first ever WBW World Heavyweight Championship match. Joe Justice, Chris Chambers, in just a little bit. Stay with us. WBW Warfare will be right back. ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Ortega had to step out. He's getting himself ready for the main event, which will be right after this. And we apologize for the technical difficulties we've had, but as we see Eli McFly, and we were talking about earlier, Brandon McGregor was in a bad mood, and as he just literally decimated the Flea, of course Eli McFly is going to have his hands full as he's getting ready for Jake Frost, big 6'4", 258 pounds. And Eli McFly is certainly going to have his hands full. Let me preface all this with a statement. Ladies and gentlemen, next, I don't know if even words can qualify what needs to be said, but next, right after right after Jake Frost and Eli McFly, we are going to see Joe Justice and Chris Chambers square off to crown the first ever WBW World Heavyweight Champion. I'm not trying to take anything away from this match. I'm not trying to take anything away from Jake Frost, as he's one of the top guys in WBW. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the most historical moment that will ever take place in WBW history. It doesn't matter what will happen yet 10 years, 20 years from now with this great company. What matters is what's going to happen right after this match. What matters is the first ever WBW World Heavyweight. There can only be one, ladies and gentlemen. There can only be one man crowned. There can only be one man in that position. And whoever walks away tonight, whether it be Joe Justice or Chris Chambers, is going to be that man. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to speak boldly. And I know that my job as an analyst is to call these things right down the middle, but I fear for Chris Chambers because I saw Joe Justice in that big-time Rumble, and I saw the fire in his eyes, and I heard the USA chants echoing off of this arena in Toledo, Ohio, and I recognized the zeal of one Joe Justice. And tonight there is something special in the air, and I feel like it may just be that man's night. Now, with all that said, with all the picture painted, with everything put out there, we can now get to this match. Eli McFly versus Jake Frost. But I'm going to preface that with this statement. Earlier, Big Time Rumble, it came down to Joe Justice and Jake Frost. We had forgotten that Brandon McGregor was on the outside of the ring. Jake Frost hit Joe Justice with the frostbite, and the match was surely over. All Frost had to do was pick Justice's limp body up and throw him over the top rope. Well, Brandon McGregor then shocked us all, and we remembered that he was an entrant, that he was just lying in wait outside the ring. He came in and he eliminated Jake Frost. So you got to know that Jake Frost has got a chip on his shoulder at this point in time as Eli McFly is doing a little dance, making a little love. Looks like he's going to get down tonight. You can say what you want about Eli McFly, and a lot of people do. Trust me. Wait a minute, what is Jake Frost doing? He's going over, and it looks like he's vomiting in his hat. Anyway, you can say what you want about Eli McFly, but the young man is actually an amazing athlete, quite talented. He puts you in the mind of one Dean Malenko when he's on key. But when you're standing across the ring from Jake Frost, there is an intimidation factor there that cannot be denied. Jake Frost, 6'4", 250-something pounds, an unbelievable, phenomenal specimen of a man. And you can guarantee that he's not going to take it lightly on Eli McFly as Eli continues to dance. Looks like both men jockeying for position here as they go into a collar and elbow lockup. And Eli McFly's not going to win this exchange. You can see him putting all of his body weight into it. And Jake Frost just shrugs him off like he's a rag doll. Eli rolls to his feet, right into a dance. And we are making moments here at WBW Warfare as Eli McFly is showing the crowd how to do a little bit of dancing with a little bit of wrestling. And there he's striking a pose. And here we go again, back into a lockup. It looks like, yes, we are. Once again, Jake Frost, the stronger of the two, and this time he shoves Eli off with authority, and you notice McFly didn't jump up and do a McDance this time. You gotta wonder, it's gotta be in your mind here on what's gonna happen tonight. I mean, so many nuances involved in this main event coming up next that it's not even funny. So many little things could be a factor, and I said that it looked like it was Joe Justice night, but you can't take anything away from Chris Chambers. Look at the last WBW event. Look at what happened between Chambers and Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel is one of the best wrestlers in the business, and Chris Chambers took him to school and defeated him, and all the odds were stacked against Chambers, but it didn't matter. Chambers still walked away. So it's anybody's ball game. I just say look out for Justice as he has a fire in his eyes. And I would venture to wonder here if at any point in this match we're going to see any wrestling, or if it's going to be all Eli McFly doing poses, dancing, and stretching. Back into a collar and elbow. Now Eli McFly is going to do a strut. So we went from dancing to stretching to posing to strutting, and Jake Frost looks like he's getting irritated.
Make this quick! Make this quick!
And there you hear the audience chanting, "Make this quick." And Jake Frost is representing his fist and saying, "I'm about to put it in your face." And that's what he's doing. Jake Frost is hammering away at Eli McFly over in that corner. And then he just kicked him right in the rear and just keeps kicking him right in the rear. Well, now he's not kicking him in the rear, he's kicking him in the chest. What's Jake Frost have in mind here? As he pulls McFly out, McFly lands hard on his back. And this is a position that McFly doesn't want Frost to be. What is Frost is measuring him for something here? Oh, well, he just kicked him in the rear one more time. Might I dare to say, Eli McFly is getting a lot of posterior action from Jake Frost here tonight. And Jake Frost still playing to the crowd, and what an amazing, phenomenal, talented athlete he is. And at his pace, Jake Frost is better than anyone in the locker room on any given day. At his pace. Oh, here we go. Did you hear the sound of that chop thundering off the WBW arena here? And Jake Frost is now motioning to the crowd saying, "I'm going to give him one more." And, well, he didn't chop his chest. He chopped his rear end. And Eli McFly looks like he's in trouble after just a little bit of an assault. Jake Frost now snap-mirroring him over. He's going to go off the ropes here. Yakuza kick right to the chest, and Eli McFly's down, and if Jake Frost would just cover him, this thing would be over. 1, 2, cancel Christmas. No, Eli McFly kicked out. You got to give the young man his due there, showing some great courage, kicking out of that Yakuza kick, and it was a perfectly placed one, to say the least. And here comes Frost again. But Eli McFly ducks and drop toe holds Jake Frost right over into the ropes. And Frost is draped, and here comes McFly. And McFly's going to McDrape his body right over the McFrost's back. Let me stop the Mick jokes. I'm getting a little insane here. And it looked like Eli McFly may have gave Jake Frost a little bit of a dance on his back. Jake Frost on the outside of the ring. Are we going to see Eli McFly fly tonight? Nope. We're going to see him get out of the ring, though. And what's he going to do? No, there he goes. He went for it, but Jake Frost, the amazing power, deceptively strong, was able just to catch Eli McFly right in the air. And now what are we going to see? He's going to snake. No, he moved out of the way, and Jake Frost hit that post hard. And now Eli McFly is on the assault. And this is where Eli McFly can be dangerous. When the dancing is done and the fighting is started, Eli McFly is just as good as anybody. And there he is pounding away at Jake Frost over against the guardrail. Into the other post, Frost hit his head hard. And Frost may be seeing stars as McFly continues to pound away at him. Jake Frost made his way in the ring, trying to probably get away from Eli McFly. But McFly was able to, well, here comes the dancing again, which is a clear mistake, but then he just goes right over and punches Frost right in the face. And Frost looks like that may have just woken him up. Give me another, Frost says, and Frost fires away. Here comes McFly. That may have rocked him, but no, Frost fires away again. Big double axe handle to the head, and Jake Frost is awake now. Big right hand from Frost. Look at where he's coming from, way back there with those right hands. And Eli, wait a minute, Jake Frost is going to do a little dance now. He blocks the clothesline. Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen, are we about to see Frostbite just out of nowhere? And this match is over. That's how dangerous the Frostbite is. It comes from out of nowhere, and it nails a guy out of nowhere. Wait a minute. There's music playing on the arena speakers, and oh my goodness, there's Brendan McGregor. And he runs down to the ring. What's he going to do here? He just grabs Frost and he pulls Frost out. There is no love lost between these two. You can guarantee that. And Jake Frost is looking a little bit perturbed, to say the least. Are we going to see these two big bulls, 6'4", 6'7"? Are we going to see these two big men lock horns? They're having words now on the outside of the ring. Are we going to see these guys lock up here? Someone call this a fantasy matchup. Stan Hansen versus Bruiser Brody. But no, wait a minute. What just happened here? Jake Frost just got counted out, and I think that we saw McGregor's intention clearly. Generally, Brendan McGregor would come down and beat the tarnation out of someone, but this time he just came down to distract Frost long enough for the referee to get to a 10 count, and Eli McFly steals the match by a count out, and you can guarantee Jake Frost is livid. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, WBW World Championship, Joe Justice versus Chris Chambers. Hang on to your hats, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Cross back here with you, and there is goose flesh all over me because you can guarantee. Let's go ahead and go to Denny Crum. One of the most unbelievable things that I can ever think of is Joe Justice making a big impact in the Big Time Rumble. And then the match before, the last event, Chris Chambers making an impact against Trey Miguel. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take anything away from anything else that happened at this event, but listen to this audience. Chris Chambers, one of the top guys in wrestling, period. But there will never be, and I've said this 50,000 times already tonight, and I'm losing my voice already, but there will never be a bigger, more historical moment ever in WBW's history. No matter where this company is in 80 years from the moment that we talk about this right now, there will never be a more historical match. There can only be a first, and there can only be one first, and that's what we are about to see. You hear the big-time audience here just cheering Chris Chambers on, and rightfully so. Chris Chambers has worked his rear end off over the years to become one of the top guys in this business. An amazing athlete. Don't let his size fool you. This guy can go. And ladies and gentlemen, we are amped to the gills for Chris Chambers and Joe Justice. Can you believe it? Back to Denny Crum. And once again, the World Big Time Wrestling audience here just went bananas for Joe Justice. And I have goose flesh all over me. If you could just come sit beside me, I'll personally go to each one of these fans and show them. There are tears welling up in my eyes, ladies and gentlemen. I simply cannot believe that this guy, Nicholas Cross, gets to be part of this moment right here. History will be made. History will be made. A legend, a legacy, and history, all of that will be set in stone tonight. As there you see both men, Joe Justice and Chris Chambers, as the referee is getting ready to show both men what it's all about. The big 20 pounds of gold. 20 pounds of gold. And it's for all the marbles, and here we are. What a journey. What a great company. What great athletes that we have in this match. And listen to this audience. Pardon me as I just sit back and enjoy this for a moment. Both men going to shake hands. Good friends for years both men have been. As Chambers now is leading the audience in some clapping. This is such an odd feeling in here tonight. You got half of this crowd chanting, "Let's go Chambers," and the other half chanting, "USA." This is amazing. Looks like we're getting ready to lock up here. Listen to WBW. Listen to Toledo, Ohio. How can you not get emotional listening to this crowd? Here we are in the lockup, and this thing is underway as Justice takes him over into a headlock. And ladies and gentlemen, history's about to be made. History is about to be made. Justice ducks behind and takes him around. He's now got him in an armbar or something like it. I can't even get my words right. A wrist lock. Let's try that. And Chambers now hoisting Justice up. Justice flips over, lands on his feet. Justice grabs him in a headlock again. We're going to be filling each other out. You can guarantee this. There's going to be a process to this thing. Chambers showing his power, and you can guarantee he's going to take this to 9,000, but Justice then just takes Chambers back over. Listen to this crowd. Pardon me if there are silences in my commentary, but I want the people watching around the world to be able to experience what I'm experiencing live in this building. A test of strength here, and Joe Justice is in a bad position. Clearly, he is the quicker of the two, but when it comes to strength, Chris Chambers has that put in a bag as he's trying to end this thing quickly, but it's not going to happen that way. Both men now. Justice, wait a minute. Justice gets in, and a monkey flip takes Chambers over. And Chambers hits hard as his head hit the bottom rope, and then Justice goes for a drop kick, but he missed a little bit there. This time he nailed Chambers right on the arm, and Chambers comes around. Oh, Chambers got all of that one. But Joe Justice back to his feet quickly here. Here comes Justice. Chambers back drops him, and Justice hangs on. Justice is on the apron in a dangerous spot. Chambers with a forearm to the face. Enziguri and Justice is hit the floor. Justice hit the floor hard, pardon me. There you see Justice slow to rise to his feet, and Chambers is giving chase as WBW is now chanting USA. Chambers now pounding away at Justice. Chambers is going to shoot Justice in, and Justice hits hard into the ring barrier. That's steel, folks, and here comes Chambers, and he hits hard himself. Both men nailing that steel ring barricade. Man, what are we going to see here? I knew that all the marbles would be laid out on the table, but I didn't know it would be this soon. I thought that there would be a feeling out process. This is not, wait a minute. Justice is going to try to suplex Chambers on the floor, but Chambers keeps blocking it. And up goes Justice, and down, and he hits hard. Justice just got suplexed by Chambers on the floor. We're not used to seeing either one of these men doing this kind of thing to other guys. It's generally wrestling at its best, and they're just performing with skill and showing their talent. Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, in this moment, at this time, these guys are beating the living hell out of each other. Chambers now with Justice as he launches him back into the ring. And once again, let me tell you what kind of honor it is for me to be able to be sitting out here calling this. Listen to this audience. Can you believe this? It's split right down the middle. Let's go, Chambers. One side says powerbomb. It's over. 1, 2. Joe Justice kicked out. Joe Justice kicked out. There's the heart of the American man right there. I thought for sure that this thing was going to be over. Prior to the powerbomb, the one side was chanting, "Let's go, Chambers." The other side was chanting USA, and here comes Justice. And now he gets him over into a head scissors, and he sends Chambers out of the ring. The momentum of Chambers sent him straight through that second rope and out of the ring, and he hit hard on the floor. Justice now, for some reason, is giving Chambers time. Maybe he's got something on his mind that I don't know about. Chambers made his way to his feet on the outside. Justice on the inside, and wait a minute. Justice goes airborne and nails Chambers. This will tell you something. Let me make a bold statement. This is gonna paint a good picture for you, and I'm not Picasso, but let me make sure that I get this out here real well. This is what this is all about. Both of these men are putting themselves on the line in every way that they can, because they too know that there will never be a more historical moment in all of this great company's history. And these men right here, listen to me, audience, these men are making history right now as we speak. Chambers shoots Justice in to break up the count, but both men now back outside the ring, and Chambers headbutts Justice, and listen to this audience. Justice hits the ring post hard, and what's Chambers have in mind here? Here he comes, and no, he missed! Justice ducked out of the way, and Chambers clotheslined the ring post, and ladies and gentlemen, that could be the difference maker right there. There you see him rip his elbow pad off, and he's in pain. Chris Chambers is in pain, and Joe Justice sees the target. He's got his sights lined right up. The crosshairs are dialed in. The scope is ready. And there he is, firing away right there on that arm. Veteran move by Joe Justice. And Chambers crawling around. Chambers is in some trouble, and Justice continues to assault that arm. And look at the face of Chambers in some serious pain. In agony, Chris Chambers is. And Justice isn't going to... Justice just chopped the arm. And Chambers chopped back. Chambers is firing away at Justice now. That fire's rising on the inside of Chambers, something fierce. But no. Justice and Chambers now both in the ring. Both men look like they've been through a car accident already. And we're just a little bit into this darn thing. American Nightmare! Look at what we saw, but Chambers slipped out of the back door there. Could you believe it? Joe Justice had it hooked for a brief second, but Chambers with presence of mind. Listen to the audience. Justice continuing to fire away at that arm there, taking advantage of it as one half of the crowd. He just gave the arm a backstabber. And Chris Chambers is in trouble. That could have caused some separation there, and that may be the very thing that Joe Justice needed. And Chambers, with his arm in the condition it is, you know he's not going to be able to hit his big moves. Justice whips him off, but Chambers was able to reverse. Chambers follows it. Wait a minute, the referee goes down. The referee inadvertently knocked down by Chris Chambers. Chambers followed Justice in, going to go for a clothesline. Justice elbows Chambers. Chambers knocked back and then inadvertently elbows the referee right in the face. And ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a situation here. And how much more chaos could take place on this night than in the most historical moment in WBW history. All the players, all the King's horses, and all the King's men are down in the middle of the ring. American Nightmare! American Nightmare! Justice has this thing hooked now for sure! And the referee is down. We would have a new World Heavyweight Champion right this exact moment. Right this exact moment. The American Nightmare is locked in, but the ref is down. Joe Justice is going to go over now and try to get the referee up. Smart thinking by Justice. You got to get him back in the game so that you can apply that American Nightmare again and take Chambers out of this thing. Joe Justice, had the referee been awake, may have been an inch away from being the first ever WBW champion. Justice now firing away, but Chambers is coming back. Chambers firing away. Right hand. Right hand. Tackles him into the corner. Chambers still favoring that arm as he gives him with another shoulder. Chambers has hoisted Justice up on the second rope, over the top rope rather. Justice is teetering precariously up there, and then he just kicks Chambers out of right down, and just that quickly, one small move takes Chambers back out of the equation. Here comes Justice, crossbody, and once again, 1, 2, there would have been a new champion right there, but the referee's still out cold. Chambers nailed that referee with that elbow. Justice now on the outside of the ring. What's he going to do here? He grabbed a bottle of water off the announce table, and now he's slinging it all over. He's going to get him a swig of water. Justice back in the ring. The referee is now moving. Justice is hooked. No, Chambers rolls him over. Chambers, 1, 2. Chambers wins it. No, Justice kicked out. Can you believe the action, ladies and gentlemen? I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Who knows what's going to take place next? Chambers is up, and Chambers is a ball of fire, and what are we going to see? Oh no, Chambers is going to powerbomb Justice, it looks like. Wait a minute, look closely. Chambers can't hoist Justice because of his arm. And Justice was able there to put his legs underneath him and power Chambers over. Chambers now on the apron, and Joe Justice looks like he's getting fired up. Justice just tackled Chambers in the gut, shoulder to the gut, and Chambers is in a bad position, and what's Justice going to do here? Wait a minute, Justice is flipping over. He's going to try to powerbomb. Oh my God! Oh my God, Justice just powerbombed Chambers into the first row of the audience. And 3 members of the front row just disappeared. There's Brendan McGregor. There's Brendan McGregor, and there goes Justice out on the other side. Justice just powerbombed Chambers on one side, and then suicide dove on McGregor on the other. And let's see this again, ladies and gentlemen. There's the powerbomb, and there's the dive. And here comes Jake Frost. What in the world is going to happen here? Joe Justice isn't going to let anyone tarnish his night, and Jake Frost is here to help save the day. History's going to be made, and McGregor will not stop it. McGregor will not stop it. Jake Frost now just shoots McGregor right into the ring post, and McGregor's bell was rung. The referee is up. Chambers is down. Chambers is down and in a bad way. Justice making his way into the ring. Now, if there is a countout, the title will be awarded to Joe Justice. Chambers just now getting over the barricade. If there's a countout, Justice wins this thing. The referee's at 6. The referee's at 7 coming up right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to have a new champion via countout right here. Right here, Chambers. There's 9. There's 9. Chambers got in right at the last second. My God Almighty, my God Almighty, can you believe this? Here comes Justice, but Chambers catches him. Chambers catches him. No, Justice hooks him. American Nightmare, American Nightmare. The referee is up this time, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. We've got a new WBW champion. Chambers is about to tap. I'm losing my voice. I can't get my mind right. The action is unbelievable, and the crowd is going crazy. But Chambers is making his way to his feet. European uppercut. Just took the wind right out of Justice. Wait a minute, there's the fire on the inside of Chambers. Pardon me screaming, but I can't talk over this audience. Enter the chamber! Enter the chamber! He nailed Justice! 1, 2, 3. We got a new WBW World Heavyweight Champion! Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Chambers has done it! Chris Chambers has done it! And I can't believe what I've seen tonight. Let's go back and let's see this again. Chris Chambers hooks him, entered the chamber right there, and this thing was over at that moment. Ladies and gentlemen, tears as they streamed down my face. I'm going to tell you, history has been made here tonight, as we have seen two men give everything that they have to this great audience. And what an honor it's been for me to call this thing. And wait a minute, Joe Justice just yanked the belt away from Commissioner Eddie Ortega. And there he wants to give it to Chris Chambers. Ladies and gentlemen, there will never be a bigger moment. There will never be a bigger, more historical time in WBW history. And we have made it happen right here tonight in Toledo, Ohio. And I can't believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Chambers is the new WBW World Heavyweight Champion. This is Nicholas Cross, and I am beyond excited. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here at WBW Warfare. This has been Nicholas Cross, and there is our new World Heavyweight Champion, Chris Chambers. You guys have a good night.